Hello everyone and welcome back to IRRISeller. In the first part of IRRISeller tutorial series, I showed you how you can produce a final customer offer from your IRRISketch spec sheet in combination with your personal prices. In the second part of the tutorial series, we turn to the label values. A correct label value calculation for a large irrigation project can be very difficult. I would like to show you how the IRRISeller can support you in this process and can bring you a little closer to the truth. The IRRISeller uses information from the IRRISketch plan you have drawn from the label value calculation. To do this, I open our demo project and switch to irrigation. An essential part of the work in creating an irrigation project is the construction of the trenches. Here IRRISketch helps us to calculate them correctly. For this purpose, we draw the line trenches in our project. In the toolbox on the left under Trench, we find different trench widths to choose from. As you can make the pipe trench with different tools at IRRISketch, we offer a choice of different trenches. The narrow trench with a width of 5 cm and a depth of 30 cm. How it can be made with a hand trencher like the geotrencher. The normal trench 10 cm wide, 50 cm deep, made with a standard trencher. Or the wide trench, 30 cm wide and 60 cm deep, which can be produced with a mini excavator, for example. I choose for our plan 4 trenches in which 1 or 2 pipes are inserted, the narrow trench, and simply draw the trench over the pipes. Here again. The way from the valve box to the sprinkler. Here we have 3 pipes. Here I choose the normal trench. The trench is now drawn in. Now I'm switching to the IRRISeller. To do this, I click into Spec Sheet and save the outlay again. I choose an update and can then jump directly to the IRRISeller from here. Here at the top left, I find the Work button. And this is where all the work in connection with this project are being carried out. It starts with piping up here. Pipe total 128 meters, broken down again into HDPE pipe and HDPE pipe 32 millimeters, both with 128 meters. Then come the fittings. All fittings total 65 pieces, of which are 34 compression fittings. 6 pieces clamp saddles. Threaded fittings 2 pieces. And barb fittings 23 pieces. These are for the drip tube. Here are the valve boxes. And further down here we find trenches. We have a total trench length of barely 75 meters. A volume of 1.24 cubic meters, which is calculated from width multiplied by depth. And narrow trenches just under 65 meters. And normal trenches 9.43 meters. The area of the lawn is also indicated with 252 square meters. The question now is, what can we do with these values? Quite simply, I can now go and deposit. For example, for a narrow trench per meter, production costs 20 euros. Or for the installation of a sprinkler, here 11 pieces. Calculate 15 euros for placing in the floor, for positioning and adjusting. Or for any compression fitting. So cut the pipe, deburr it, connect the fitting, 5 euros per piece. Or for each meter of PE pipe laid, 4 euros. And these amounts we now enter. To do this, we switch to our account and then to prices. And we can now, just like the item prices, also create our label value list. I open a new list and get the same view as with the item lists. I add a new element. Article number. I will start with the PE pipe. Name. PE pipe laid in pipe trench. Unit. Piece and one value. I choose 5 euros per meter of pipe laid. Currency euros. And with this, we have deposited our first label value. And just as with the article lists, an IRRISketch ID is required. The IID on label values can be found in the IRRISeller under Work. And with these text snippets, we find the IID. If I enter pipe in the IID field, for example, use the search function to display all available pipe IIDs. Due to this link, the IRRISeller will now charge me an amount of 5 euros for every meter of PE pipe laid. Let's create another label value. Narrow trenches. Produce pipe trenches with a trencher according to the irrigation plan. Unit piece 1. Value 15 euros. Here too we are looking for the right IID. Narrow trenches total length. There is the IID. And if I calculate this now, IRRISeller gives me a value of 15 euros per meter for the 65 meters trench. Just like with the item prices, I can also use setups here. I just put these label values together under a new setup. And of course, I can also store groups and discounts here. Everything exactly the same as with the item lists. The import function is also available. I have prepared a demonstration label value list for your better understanding. You can find them under Public Prices, then IRRISketch.de, then IRRISeller demo label values. I download these once. And to edit them, I have to clone them once. I can delete the original file again immediately. I open these. And in this list, you will find already pre-configured groups and discounts. And here it starts with the water socket. The IID is quick coupling. And the text. Deliver water socket and install it at the correct height. And connect it to the supply cable inclusive connection pieces. And all that for 15 euros per piece. Pressure regulation filter installed 5 euros per piece. Rain sensor mounting, sprinkler mounted, control unit mounted. And so on. This list is intended to serve as a basis for your own calculation. Of course, everyone must determine individually how label values are to be distributed, which things make sense and which can be omitted. And of course, this calculation will not always fit in practice, because the work on a project is extended and shortened by external influences. However, this type of working type planning offers a decisive advantage, namely comparability. Every project is calculated in the same way and can be reworked afterwards. Now let's look at how these work values behave in a calculation. I am switching to the IRRISeller in Work. We covered the equipment in the first video. Back in the work, we select under Price List. And as soon as I select a price list, the program calculates the label value of this project on the basis of the list. It starts here PE pipe totally. 128 meters for 2 euro per meter is 265 euros. Compression fittings 32 millimeters. 5 euros per piece, 170 euros. And so on. I can now simply add or deselect label values. Now we switch to the final view. It starts up here with the equipment. I can adjust quantities here for each position at a later date. And further down we find the labors. Here at the back of the line I find the text for my list. The number of pieces. 2 euros per piece and 256 euros in total. And of course, I can also do all the discount and markup calculations in the label values as I do in the item lists. It is also possible to change the percentage of individual lines, price modifiers or fast modifier. Further up, we find the total amount of equipment, 1,905 euros and 98 cents, and the labor width, 3,022 euros and 73 cents, and the total here in the middle, 4,928 euros and 71 cents. With IRRISeller, I can completely calculate every project within 2 to 3 minutes, provided that I have stored my article and working time lists correctly. But what happens if a client wants a change in the plan? We all know what it's like when a customer contacts us. And instead of the drip line in the bed, he would prefer sprinklers for watering beds. I delete the drip tube. Select suitable sprinklers now. And place the sprinklers. One for the middle. Connection to the lateral pipe. I am switching to the specs sheet. The drip line has disappeared. I am still quickly configuring the sprinkler connection. I save the IRRISeller outlay. And change to the IRRISeller. Select price lists again. And I already have a new calculation. Without drip tube, but with additional sprinkler. The level values were also adjusted. And in the final view, we see a total price of €4,660.96, a difference of approximately €300. And this brings us to the end of the video on label value. Thank you for your attention.